Good afternoon, my fellow aquarium scientists. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. Sorry for the last minute live stream. I made the decision like 3 hours ago, literally, um, to do it. But I was like, you know what? Let's keep things rolling. Let's do a live stream and talk a little bit about some updates. If anybody wants to ask any questions, you're more than welcome to do so. But this will probably be the last this will probably be the live stream. This will be the last live stream for a while. After that, I'm going to focus more on working on videos for the channel and then um and things like that. But there are times where I'll just be like, you know what, let's just do a live stream. I don't know. It's not set in stone, but probably will not do a live stream for a bit. Before we get into the main purpose of the live stream, let's do some hello highs. My dear friend Scotty is first. Thank you very much for coming. We've got Matt. We've got Why Are We Always Yelling? Kelly Foreman. Shady Grady, thank you very much for coming. Steven, thank you. Rico, thank you very much for coming. I think it worked because there's a bunch of people here. Jenna P, thank you very much for coming. Annette, Mystery Snail Guardians, thank you very much for coming. Coolio, we've got, and we've got Boots Cats, we've got Geek Boy as well. Thank you very much, guys, for coming, stopping by. Cool. So, as the title of this live stream says, basically what I've done is, if you guys were here for the last live stream, we were talking about the idea of me setting up a saltwater planted aquarium, a macroalgae dominant, or pretty much just a macroalgae aquarium. That would be funded by the community, by my fellow aquarium scientists. And I would bring it back. I would maintain it until the clash, and then I would bring it to the clash and have it displayed at the Atlantic Aquarium's booth for the duration of the weekend event. And then at the last day, it will be raffled off. The decision has been made that in order for you to have an entry in the raffle, you will have to purchase something from Atlantic Aquariums. Um, and then basically I'll have somebody, probably Scotty, pull out a ticket, and then whoever has that ticket will get the aquarium. In order for you to get the aquarium, you must be present at the booth at that time. You will also get all the supplies to transport. So I will have buckets, obviously, for me to transport the aquarium there, to drain the salt water, and everything like that. There will be a siphon hose as well, things like that, and then it's all yours during the event. If you have any questions about the care of the aquarium or things like that, I'll do my best for that stuff in the videos that I'll do during the setup for the series. But if you want to ask me a question at the event while we're enjoying the aquarium, you're more than welcome to do so. The goal is to make it as simple, easy to maintain as possible. It definitely would not help if you are interested in that in this setup, to kind of familiarize yourself with saltwater aquaria, macroalgae scapes in particular, and it would definitely benefit. But yeah. So let me scroll back because I did see a few more people coming in. I want to make sure I say hi to everybody. We've got Clashy. Thank you very much for coming. Scotty says, you have 25 people here. You can't stop streaming. I'm not going to stop streaming completely. I'm just going to hold off until for a while. We have Vinokski. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. We've got Zen Ginger here. Thank you very much for coming. I've still not taught my smartphone your name as it keeps trying to autocorrect you. So if you ever see that, it's saying hi to you. Oh boy. Stinking autocorrect. Yeah, geek boy. Stupid smartphones. Night Owl Aquatics, thank you very much for stopping by. Also, please let me know if the live stream's a little wacky, because even from what I'm seeing, there's like delay. There's a form of delay going on and stuff like that. So I do apologize, but do let me know if something's going wrong. Jeff Kane, welcome. Can't talk. Thank you very much for coming. Welcome. Jeff, how are the plants doing? We've got Scuba Steve. Thank you very much for coming. Fish Fam Link, thank you very much for coming. Love the new logo, by the way. And we've got the Nano Aquarium guy. Thank you very much for coming. Really appreciate it. Okay, so what I did was this past weekend I've been busy. I've been going online, checking out my wholesalers, distributors, checking out online stores, going to my local aquarium store, even going to the big box stores around me like Petco and PetSmart to come up with a list of items as promised, with their prices or close prices, to be more specific. And what I tried to do was the entire set to try and make it as not as expensive as possible, utilizing equipment that is easily affordable, in my opinion, easy to transport, things like that. So what I came up with, Jeff says the Rotala got a little toasty. Okay, hopefully it did recover. But that's good. That's good feedback for me, Jeff. That just tells me that I need to figure out a way to have a good enough barrier between the plants and the heat pack. Which I thought there was a good enough barrier between the two, but probably not. Zen says there's usually a delay, but if I'm not mistaken, you can adjust how much on the streamer side. No, or am I imagining that's an option? Don't know. I'm new to the whole live streaming thing, so I don't know if that is an option, but so far it looks okay. But I've noticed when I've been watching the plays of my live streams that there are times where like my face is frozen for like a couple of seconds, which is annoying. So, but I don't know. Okay, so let's pull up the Excel sheet that I came up with. Does it should cover? Okay, I only need one stem to make more. True, but I mean, I want to make sure you get what you paid for. You know. Zen needs to start a stream and test these things. Yep, there you go. Okay, so let's see here. Is that what's there? We go. Okay. So this is the Excel sheet I came up with. Let me know if you guys can see it. I'll wait for a moment just to make sure you guys can see and read everything clearly. Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, so far StreamYard is telling me my Wi-Fi is okay, but also in an area of the basement where for whatever reason the connection is not that good. But I don't know. One day I'll have a desktop and a good live streaming setup. One day. Hey there, Kelly Foreman. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hopefully Panama treated you well. Zenny is going to co-host my next stream. You heard it here first, folks. There you go. Right there. Okay, so this is what I have come up with. So in terms of the tank, it is going to be an Aqueon 10-gallon tank that you can get at like Petco, things like that. From my understanding, Petco is no longer doing the dollar per gallon sale. They've changed it to basically 50% off on their Aqueon tanks. So right now, a 10-gallon Aqueon is going for like 12.50. This all the prices are before any sales or use tax, by the way, or ship, because some of these items I will have to order, I will have to get shipped in. Um, but these are the prices, and for the most part, the sales and shipping and all that I'll cover. But um, but yeah, so it's gonna be a 10-gallon Aqueon glass aquarium. The light is going to be the SR Aquaristic Pro Freshwater 50 centimeter. That's the smallest that can actually fit on a 10-gallon. It's their strip light. Um, Nothing too fancy. Doesn't control from an app, but it's good enough. The reason it is freshwater instead of the saltwater is because I'm only doing macroalgae, and you should be fine with a good planted light for that. If you were doing more with corals and things like that, then I would not do a planted light. I would go for a full spectrum marine light, which you can get in that the SR from SR Aquaristic. By the way, most of the products that I am listing is or will be available on Atlantic Aquariums. Just a side note. The for filtration, it's going to be the Oase Filto Smart Thermo 100. Um, for hardscape, it's going to Carib Sea Life Rock. This is going to be coming from my local fish store. It's going to be 3 pounds worth, and the reason I say 3 pounds is because the price for that rock is about $6.99 per pound. And I think for the small setup, 3 pounds will be fine. There may be instances where I have to break the rock to make it into more smaller pieces, so I'll probably get more than that. If I have to pay more, I will. But as of now, it's going to be 3 pounds, and it's going to be about $20 for that. For substrate, it's going to be the Carib Sea Live Sand, the special grade. About 10 pounds is what I've calculated I might need for about a 1 inch deep substrate. And then an API saltwater master test kit to make sure I'm keeping up with water parameters. There will be times where I'll do like a master test, like a ICP analysis test. That's mainly going to help me with fertilization, which when I do the videos for the setup and everything like that, I'll go more into that in depth with that in terms of the chemistry. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing that I need help with in terms of sponsorships and funding. Which brings the total to about 250, 251. And then below that are extra items that I will covering that I will cover for. So that includes 5-gallon buckets. I'll need about 3 of them. 2 for salt water, 1 for regular RODI water for top off. Because when salt water evaporates, the salt stays, the water evaporates. You do not want fluctuations in salinity, so you top it off with fresh RODI water. Fertilizers for this setup, from what I've done my research and also following a particular saltwater aquascaper, macroalgae aquascaper, he uses 3 particular fertilizers. What they are, I won't say until I post a video about it. And then saltwater and RODI water for top off. Now, the saltwater and RODI water, I've decided to purchase from a local fish store pre-mixed, but what that they mix. So the salt water is currently going for $2 per gallon, and then the RODI is like I think 60 cents or something like that per gallon. I have to when I do go back there, I will ask them what salt they are using for their water. But if you look at for 10 gallons how much I'm paying for salt water versus if I was to get the Nature Sea water gallons for 4.4 gallons, I believe, or something along the lines of that, it's about 20 bucks. Whereas if I was to bring 5-gallon buckets and get salt water, I would be getting 10 gallons for about the same price, if that makes sense. Um, and yeah, so the extra stuff is basically they aren't single purchases. They're like a constant purchase where I would have to buy them multiple times to keep up with the maintenance basically aspect of it. I did forget to put in maintenance stuff like a siphon hose and things like that, but I mean they're not that expensive, so I guess I'll cover that. But let me go back. Chat's been hopping, which is good. Just wanna mm. So Kelly is asking, Usama, will you sell macroalgae? I am very interested. Maybe, since I'll be bringing a setup for it. Keep in mind, this is not going to happen until I have people interested in funding this project. I can't afford the 250 or whatever to do this thing. But if I do end up bringing the tank, the setup, and everything like that, the problem is I need to find a distributor that has good quality, clean macroalgae. Um, and if so, I will bring, if there is a demand for it, again, if there is a demand for it, I will bring macroalgae to sell. Because the last thing I want is not selling any of it and me having to bring it back and it's just going to go in the trash because I don't have a saltwater setup to keep the macroalgae. Okay, so if there is a demand, if people are generally interested in buying macroalgae, I will try and do my best to bring it in. But at some point, Atlantic aquariums will have macroalgae to sell. Thank you, Zen, for sharing the link. Scotty just sent me 3 pictures of the green stuff in his saltwater tank. Is that macroalgae? Let's take a look. Hmm. Some of it kind of looks like it, but a lot of it looks like string algae, which is a pest. So no, I'm gonna go with no. It's just an algae that's been growing, I guess, naturally, but it does not look like the type of macroalgae I would want to put in the main display. Uh, ooh, Zen is calling out a bunch of people. Not good. Not good. Hey there, Coro. Thank you very much for stopping by. Sorry if I didn't say hi. Scotty says, Usama, I can provide live, and I am sure Kaylee can donate an API saltwater test kit. That's true because she works for API. Hmm. I mean, Scotty, if you can reach out and ask, would be kind of you. In terms of live, are you referring to live rock? I'm assuming from your saltwater tank. If that is the case, then I appreciate it, but no. I don't want any hitchhikers coming into the setup through that. What I will be purchasing is the dry Caribsea live rock, which basically has dormant bacteria. It's man-made rock that has dormant bacteria, and once it gets wet, it will naturally bring in bacteria. The same thing with the live sand. Sometimes if you go to like saltwater aquarium stores or like aquarium stores that have saltwater setups, they'll have like rock and saltwater that's already seeded with bacteria and things like that that you can purchase to put into your tank. I don't like that because the you do have the risk of bringing in hitchhikers. Okay, and I'm very strict and very cautious of what I introduce into my setups. So I'm gonna pass on that. I bought mine from BRS because nobody I knew sold it. There are a few people who sell. I'm assuming you're talking about macroalgae. There are a few others besides BRS that sell it. Actually, BRS sells Algae Barn, and you can get direct from Algae Barn. Um, in the future, Atlantic Aquariums will have macroalgae, so maybe you can get supply from me. But yeah, Algae Barn, and then I just recently discovered an Etsy shop that also sells more of a variety of macroalgae than even Algae Barn. I'm still gonna reach out to Algae Barn to see if they're willing to donate some macroalgae. But then, if I see something that is easy to maintain from that Etsy shop, I'll also I'll also get some from there. But my goal is to keep some macroalgae that are relatively easy to maintain. Geek says I've got a bunch of good, clean, healthy freshwater algae. Don't want it. Get that stuff out of here. So, hello, Bunny Viper. In case I did not say hi to you, Professor FishTanks. Hi. We have recently met, and I've enjoyed it. Subbed and liked this project. Sounds wonderful. Good luck. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry if I don't remember you. If we have met, my memory is not that good. I remember faces more than I remember names, to be honest. So Coro is asking, what is the definition of macroalgae? Forget pest. Can we talk about why hair or string algae are considered a microalgae? So macroalgae is it depend it's I can't talk. So a lot of the hair algae and things like that, they are filamental algae that are basically like colonies of algae, if that makes sense. Macroalgae is like it's like a plant, but it's not, from my understanding. A lot of your brown macroalgae and things like that, they have holdfasts or a root structure, things like that. Whereas a lot of your pest algae or like hair string algae, they're more filamentous and are more of like small cells, single cells of algae clumped together. That's my understanding of it. That's the difference between the two. Um, think of it this way: macroalgae is your traditional seaweed, the cartoony seaweed that you find. Mm. Hello, Pile Aquatics. Thank you very much for stopping by. How are you going to introduce coralline algae? I don't like coralline algae. Now, when I say I don't like coralline algae, I do not like it on the walls of the aquarium. I want my aquariums to be the walls, the glass, to be completely see-through, void of any algae. That being said, there is already coralline algae on the the Carib Sea, from my understanding. Um, but it naturally comes in there. Coralline algae is an algae that's calcified. It uses calcium to grow, and so as long as and salt water that you would mix for the saltwater for your saltwater system has calcium obviously in it, and so that feeds the algae. Sometimes, if you're really wanting to get that coralline algae, there are supplements you can add to help the coralline algae. But I'm fine with the coralline algae staying on the rocks. I'm gonna be having sand sifter cleaner crew in the system to make sure the sand is kept clean, and I don't want any coralline algae on the glass. So I will be keeping track of if I spot any, I'm gonna scrape it off. Um, but it can be a pain in the butt to scrape off, to be honest with you. But of course, when I give away the tank, whoever gets it, if they are okay with coralline algae growing on the glass, then that's them. But not me. No, Geek Boy. No. So Scotty says, I agree, Coral. I am the opposite. I will not buy the dry live rock. I only buy established live rock that has coralline algae and other beneficial stuff. Carib Sea has all that. It's just dormant. But it does not come with any hitchhikers. Okay, so everybody has their own preferences. Um, and I'm not bashing anybody that gets the actual live rock from the tanks and all that to help kickstart their nitrogen cycle and all that and to get their system seeded. I'm not bashing them. I'm just very cautious of it. It's not something that I would do. I am perfectly fine with waiting the couple of weeks to get the aquarium established, um, and being patient, and then slowly adding the live goods and everything, and keeping up with the water quality, keeping up with water changes, things like that. Um, Especially when it comes to salt water, I might be a little lazy with fresh water, but with salt water, I'm not lazy. I make sure that I'm following everything to a T, um, and things like that. Coral says, "Is Kato and Kato is a large single cell?" So Kato is a little different. Kato is considered a macroalgae, but I don't think it's the same as like a string or a hair algae, from my understanding. I could be wrong. I might have to do a little more digging into it. Um, but yeah. But Kato isn't actually popular in displays. It's more popular in the refugium, in the filtration, the behind the scenes filtration of a saltwater system. Um, Things like your dragon's breath, your graciliera, your caulerpa, things like that are more desirable. The sea grapes, the mermaid's brush are more desirable as for the main display. You can still keep them in your refugium, but I thought Carlangi was beneficial and signs of a healthy tank. It is. I just don't want it covering the walls, the glass walls of the tank. I want it to be completely clear. I'm perfectly fine with coralline algae growing on the rocks and everything like that. It's definitely a sign of um of a healthy system. But absolutely, especially if you have coral in your system. I just don't want it growing on the walls of the tank. Pile, to each their own. Just don't touch it. I used to get my life rock right from the Atlantic decades ago. Now it's really hard to do that. I think cool is a subjective term. Mm, it can be. Not something I would recommend these days. Yeah. Coralline is a sign of a healthy tank for corals. Maybe for macros, it's different. Not really. I mean, you definitely want good alkalinity, calcium in your water for even the macros, believe it or not, from what I've been reading up on water chemistry for macroalgae systems. Um, it's just that you don't really focus that much on it if it was compared to if you had coral in your system. My tank only has a power head. All other water treatment is done naturally with my live sand, live rock, and yellow goby. Whew. and inverts. Cool. Yeah, not me. I would not do that. I'm perfectly fine with making sure I have the appropriate lighting, the appropriate filtration. I'm testing my water parameters, things like that. Because it depends on what you're keeping too. You have to understand that as well. How do you simplify? So how do you simplify to do macroalgae in the hobby? So with macroalgae, to simplify, like keeping macroalgae. So obviously, if you don't have any experience with saltwater in general, um, definitely would start off with that. With macroalgae, it depends. If you're keeping the more easier to maintain macroalgae and you have a good enough bioload that is feeding the macroalgae, you don't really have to do much. The problem is compared to like freshwater plants, macroalgae are literal nutrient sponges. They will suck every single nitrate and phosphates and all that out of your system. That's why they are so desirable for refugiums in a saltwater system. Which is why if you don't, even if you have fish and whatnot in your system and you're feeding and all, there are times where you have to keep in check with your nutrients and you have to supplement. Macroalgae does not like nitrates and phosphates of zero, believe it or not. Where we're told, especially with just basic aquarium maintenance, you don't want nitrates, you don't want a lot of phosphates, things like that. It's separate for saltwater. For corals and even macroalgae, they need nitrates and phosphates and like that. Calcium alkalinity, they need that stuff to grow their skeleton, to for their cell functions, things like that. If your tank is completely zero with nitrate, you need to dose with nitrogen or a nitrogen supplement to keep the nitrates above zero. Otherwise, your macroalgae has nothing to take in to make the food to grow. And then you're going to start seeing your macroalgae die. I've had that happen to me a lot in the lab when we would collect macroalgae specimens from the field, and they would bring it into the aquarium lab, and we would pop it in one of the systems, and it would only last us a couple of weeks, and then it would go away. And it could be a mixture of not good lighting as well as just not good enough nutrients, and that's just not understanding the actual care of these aquatic plants or these saltwater plants. What about a big Opiola tank with a big Kato wall like the Aquascaper moss walls? I guess you can do that. Opiola, I believe, is the sea lettuce, if I'm not mistaken. Um, which is a good macroalgae. You can keep it in the display, or you can. It's mostly used in refugiums, but it is an easy to maintain plant. But it is very brittle. Just like the ranunculus. If you guys were here for the not the ranunculus, the what is that plant called? The Monocelinum tenerum. That's the plant. Um, it is very brittle, so it's just like you just gotta be very careful with it. But it is an easy to maintain macroalgae, no doubt about that. We've kept it before in the lab. Um, Jeff started a salty jar with bristleworms. Ugh. So Shady Grady is asking, question, maybe you can sell the raffle tickets for $10 each entry, and then you can draw the winner at the clash. That way you only need to sell 25 tickets for your setup. Just a thought. Um, sorry, I'm thinking of a response here. Sometimes my mind just blanks out. So Shady, in case you weren't aware, so The tank will be raffled off at the Clash, at the Atlantic Aquarium's booth. The setup is going to be funded by the community. I'm not paying for the products. I don't have the funds for it. Even now, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, like I just paid off a student loan that was behind, and I only have like 100 something dollars in my bank account right now. So this is being funded by by the community, um, and the idea of the idea of, in order for you to enter into the raffle, you have to purchase from the Atlantic Aquarium's booth, was an option that a few people said that would actually be a good idea as a way of supporting Atlantic Aquariums. If you guys don't think that's the idea, I'm open to suggestions, and I can change it for it to benefit something. Um, One thing that I am thinking of doing is the proceeds that come from the raffle portion. Half of the proceeds will be donated to a nonprofit. The Coral Restoration Foundation is what I am thinking of donating to. So it's not like I'm gonna take all the money for myself. I don't want people to think of it in that sense. I want it to be beneficial in some way, and I do follow Coral Restoration Foundation. I like their work for the staghorns and a lot of the other corals that are dying, or the species that is declining. And so Atlantic Aquariums will make a donation from the proceeds that we get. Um, but I have heard people say that instead, and to have an option where people can just come and buy raffle tickets. And I'm open to that. I might end up doing that. We still have some time, but I want it, for me it's a way of make of I don't know why I'm struggling to talk about this, to be honest with you, because I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm being very self-conscious right now because I don't want people to think of this whole thing in a different light, or of it being just for like self promotion or for profit in that manner. But it is in a way a way for me to get my product out, the product that I sell out. If you want that tank, you want to take your chance and enter in the raffle. If you buy something from me, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a $10 item or whatever. You'll get a ticket for it. Um, Simple as that. Um, but yeah, I hope that answers the question. Zen says, I wish Ian was here. He is finally winning his battle a little, but he was constantly dealing with his nitrate and nutrients bottoming out. He tried so much stuff. I'm assuming he has saltwater? If that's the case, a refugium can go a long way. Just get a clump of Kato. Make sure the Kato has a light to grow with. You can get like cheap refugium lights and things like that. Um, and it will definitely help with the nitrates, with the nutrients. Um, or if I misread it in terms of nutrients bottoming out, you would want a dose, obviously, to keep the nutrients up. Opa Ola is a brackish shrimp. Well, that just tells you how much I need to prepare, or that I need to read up on um on scientific names. That is humiliating. Thank you, Carl, for the class for the clarification. Let's see what that is, because with saltwater fish, I'm not completely confident with scientific names yet. So let's see. Hang on, let me stop sharing for a second. Okay, here we go. I believe I have actually worked with these. Hang on, because there are brackish. If there are brackish shrimp, um, we do work with brackish a lot in the lab. So that's what that looks like. Now, Coral, keep in mind this system is not going to be brackish. It's going to be fully saltwater. And by no doubt do I not think that this species of shrimp will do fine in a fully saltwater. But but I need to make sure that what I'm keeping in there can stay in fully saltwater systems, and is readily available to the aquarist. But interesting, pretty brightly colored shrimp, that's for sure. And it looks like that's the type of shrimp that was used in like those little ecosphere thingy-mabobbers. Um, cool. Uh, so Kelly says, Usama, I am planning a macroalgae tank eventually, sometime. I have the tank. We'll have to have you and Gina on Wet Your Plants when I'm ready to do it. Sure. I'm perfectly fine with going back on Wet Your Plants. Yeah, I'm happy if you guys want me, if you think my knowledge is valuable in any way. I'm fine with that. Um, Zen says, Kelly, you should come talk about it with my seahorse people. Cool. Or you can do that, Kelly. You don't need me. Um, oh, stop jumping. Chat, stop jumping. Don't make me lose my thingy my bobber. Geek Boy is asking how far away from the Clash is your shop. So Um, just a side note, I don't have a brick and mortar store. It is online only and is based out of my basement. But I'm about an hour away from the Clash, from Morgantown, PA. I'm based in New Jersey. So Shady says the community would be funding it as they purchased the tickets on your chat. I just thought you could raise the funds quicker this way. Oh, don't know how it would do that, but no, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I even hate the fact that I'm asking for this. To be honest with you, I'm not comfortable right now whatsoever asking for money. Um, and we talked about it a little bit before in the previous stream, is that if I don't get enough funds to do this, all the money I get, like I'm going to be keeping records of what people are funding. And by the way, the whole purpose of the list was also like if you want to sponsor a specific part of that list, like you want to sponsor the filters, and you want to give the money for the filter, and things like that, you're more than welcome to do so. If I don't get enough coverage for the setup, all the money's going back to whoever donated. But if everything goes well, every single person that has donated will be on a list, like a little sign that'll be next to the display at the Clash, in gratitude for this setup. It's basically the whole reason I'm doing this is because a few people thought it would be a good idea when a few live streams ago we were talking about macroalgae. They thought that it would be cool to have, because we're not really getting a lot of saltwater people at the Clash. I'm like the only one right now that is doing anything regarding saltwater or sells anything regarding saltwater. And a few people were like, because we were talking about macroalgae and the planet tank and all that, they were like, why don't you set something up and bring it to the Clash so we can see it, and it'll be, kind of like eye candy and things like that. And so I was trying to figure out ways that I could do that. This is the only way I can really think of it this way. um and if you guys, and towards the end of the live stream, if you guys like this idea, I will share my email address, for Professor Fish Tanks, and you guys are welcome to reach out to me and we can further discuss the whole sponsorship thing. But um but yeah, Scotty says, you are a business owner, you need to make a profit. Nothing wrong with it. We, the community, need people and businesses like you and Atlantic Aquariums to stay in business. I appreciate that, Scotty. And I'm trying to think of ways to do it. Um, but yeah, like asking for funds, I've never been, or asking for any type of financial help for anything, not just like this stuff, but in general, I've never been comfortable with. Period. So that's why I'm having such a hard time talking about this. But I appreciate the support and the interest that I'm seeing, like people asking questions about it and giving ideas and things like that. I do appreciate that. Uh, Coral says Ian has the opposite problem that a refugium will solve. What is the problem? I'm curious now. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind chat right now, guys. But yeah, what is the problem? I'm interested. You've piqued my interest. Hello there, George. Thank you very much for stopping by. By the way, if anybody new has come in and I have not said hi yet, I apologize. But hello. Coro says, hello, Cardinia Rubra. Oh, okay. Hang on. It did pop up at some point here, actually. Yeah, which is that shrimp that I pulled up, I believe. Yeah, it's pretty much that shrimp. Hello, Cardinia Rubra. Interesting. Doing a raffle and providing a unique opportunity is fine. Have your costs covered and encourage people to buy from you and reward them with a chance to win an amazing setup. Yeah, that's the whole reason I came up with this idea. Is like the guy that is in charge of the Keystone Clash is telling me that that would work fine. But yeah, that's the goal. Um, and I think it would be cool, seeing a marine saltwater planted aquarium, because they are becoming very popular in the saltwater world. Um, and especially for people who are who are freshwater people moving into saltwater, and they kind of want to, and they're keeping corals and all that stuff, enjoying that part of the aquarium hobby, but they missed the planted setup, this planted world, like the freshwater planted world, and they want to incorporate it with saltwater, and macroalgae is your answer for that. And so that's the whole goal, is to promote that as that this new genre of aquascaping, of saltwater planted aquascaping. Scotty says, I have those opie poopy shrimp in a 2.5 gallon. Scotty, what is the scientific name? Come on, don't give me your language of the scientific name. Coro says, sorry, I'm skating to work and I am chatting at crosswalks. Be careful, Coro. It's totally okay. Make sure you're more than welcome to hop back on once you make it safe to where you're going. Don't get distracted. I meant just as a way to use Kato as a display, maybe in a moss wall. Yeah, I mean, I think it could. If it, I'm pretty sure it can act like a freshwater moss. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm pretty sure somebody can do that. I even think I've seen a few tanks that have like a Kato moss wall, at least in their refugium, because it grows like crazy if it's getting the good nutrients. But no, I think it's a cool idea. Coral says, "Yeah, I have a flat." Yoo-hoo. Hey there, KG Aquatics. Thank you very much for coming by. Geek says, "Didn't you sponsor a pizza party 2 years ago?" No idea who you're talking about. Not me. Callie says Gina sold saltwater stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about this year's Keystone Clash. Last year's Keystone Clash, we had, I think, 3 people that had saltwater stuff. Me, Gina, and I can't remember the guys that were right next to me, but they had coral. Oh, excuse me. Um, yeah, no, definitely there were saltwater people last year. Not as many as I was hoping. But as of right now, unless Scotty can correct me on this, as of right now, the only saltwater person is me. That has signed up to be a vendor at the Clash. and nobody's taking advantage of that thing that the Keystone Clash was trying to do, is allowing businesses or saltwater clubs to do like a frag swap or something at the event. And I'm still very annoyed by that. Like, I've been pushing my online forum, the New Jersey Reefers Club, which is an online club, saltwater club. I've been trying to encourage them to do it, and they haven't been doing very well with communication, in my opinion, and it's getting really annoying. Not all saltwater people, but some saltwater people can be jerks. Yeah. Um. KG says profits are important. Folks still love their Amazon. I am no longer buying from Amazon. Um, I no longer support Amazon whatsoever. I took down my Prime account and all that stuff. So I have to source products that I would normally would get from Amazon. I'm trying to get them from other places. I no longer go on Amazon. No, thank you. Jeff says, Scotty, buy more stuff. Scotty's bought quite a lot. I think I know. I want him to save and get a house. So then he can buy more stuff. Um, yeah. Shady says, I think it's fine. I think it's a fine idea. I was just looking at the amount of viewers, and $10 is an acceptable amount to donate purchase. I would like to help whatever way you decide. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. KG says Amazon will not answer questions. Yeah, that's true. I might be biased, but I'd say his problem is he puts salt in his aquarium. Hmm. Sorry, I'm a little behind chat right now, so it's like certain things I may have asked about before and I don't, and you guys are answering it, and I'm like now trying to think what's this all about? Um yeah, so KG is saying there is a large salt contingent of salt. They do not mix with fresh as I see it, even in the New England area. Yeah, there are people, but not a lot. Like you look at the aquatic experience, it was like the only event I've ever seen where you had the best of both worlds. You had freshwater and saltwater. And I mean, even with like events like Reefapalooza, like I remember that they've been wanting to have freshwater people coming to the like vendors and all that also coming to the event, like being open to freshwater as well. Um so it's not like the entire saltwater community is like this, but yeah. So Boots Cat says, I'd suggest stickers on your products as long as they do not get in the way of labels. Unless you put your stickers on the product, I won't remember who I bought from when it's time to get more. Well, yeah, so I don't put anything of my store on the products I sell. Um, what I do is if you buy from me, you will get a sticker. So actually, you'll get two stickers. Well, you'll get one of two stickers depending on what you buy from me. If you buy from Atlantic Aquariums, you'll get one sticker. If you buy from Atlantic Jungles, you'll get the other sticker. So, you know. Seriously, do I have to open up a new bag now? Great. Anyway, I'm not going to open it up right now. But if you buy from Atlantic Aquariums, you get, well, it's upside down, but you get the idea. You get that. If you buy from Atlantic Jungles, you get that. If you buy from both, you get both. It depends if, but only if you're like a new customer. But if you've bought from me before, you'll only get it once, because these stickers are not cheap. But you get that, and then you get a little card that has contact information and things like that. But I don't like putting stuff on the on the products that I sell. Um, except for a few things. There is like for the simplicity stuff, the saltwater the saltwater equipment and stuff, the Simplicity Aquatics products. They actually have a program where um the store can actually put their logo on the packaging for that stuff, which I think is really cool. So, maybe when I have my brick and mortar store and I carry more of that stuff, I might put the logo on that because I do like Simplicity stuff. They've got some really good quality equipment. Um so Roberts Reed has saying, how do we donate? So I'm gonna get to that in a moment. Um uh, a lot of people talking about Amazon. I don't like Amazon, so I will kindly ask people to forget about Daddy Bezos. Um, I haven't liked Amazon's activity recently, and I would appreciate it if we don't talk about that company. I'd really appreciate it. If you guys buy from Amazon, that's fine. I'm not gonna bash you on anything like that, but I don't like them. Um, and I don't want anything to do with it. Um, so Geek Boy says I can help with that, trying to figure out what I am saying. If it coming from me, just assume it's a sparky, sarcastic comment that can be ignored. Oh, I try. I don't want to ignore anybody, but Professor Fish thinks there are a ton of salt frag shows in the New England area. No fresh invited, and their shows are good size, like the reptiles ones. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And nothing wrong with just being freshwater only or saltwater only, but I do love when both are together in a show because I'm both. I'm neither just freshwater, I'm neither just saltwater. I love both. Um, hey there, Dee Dee. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing okay. Thank you, Zen, for sharing the online store. Appreciate it. Woohoo! Boots Cat says, I like the stickers, but if it's not on the product, I don't make the connection between the two. Fair enough. Think of it this way: if it's a high-end product, it came from me. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I remember somebody in my family when I was talking about the type of stuff I would be selling on my store. They said that, so you're the Apple store of aquarium stuff, and I got a crack out of that. Like, I guess maybe, but I have stuff that's good for any budget, whether you're a newbie or you're a seasoned aquarist looking for some high-tech stuff. I've got it all, or I will be getting it all. Um, Jeff says back to physical work later, peoples. Thanks, Jeff. See you soon. Okay, I think I have caught up on chat. So, okay. So in terms of sponsoring the product. So like I said, if you want to, so let me pull up the the thingy. Mm, okay. So Scotty's back, was doing a stupid water change. Water changes are not stupid, Scotty. I'm proud of you. Good work. Um so yes, if you are interested in sponsoring this project and you want to donate for like a particular item, if you want to donate the money for the Aquarium tank, if you want to donate for the light, if you want to donate for the or for the rock, for the sand, whatever the case might be. This is the as of right now, as of this weekend, these are the prices. Okay, this is minus shipping, sales, and use tax. The sales, use tax, shipping, all that I can manage. Hopefully, cross fingers. Um, but yes, if you are interested in this stuff, and I'll post it here, and I'm gonna and maybe I can pin it. Let me give me 1 second, guys. Stand by. Let me stop sharing for a second. And why? Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. Talks amongst yourselves while I do something here. Nope, that was wrong. You guys might hear some feedback. Just stand by. Okay, I think it worked. Hopefully that message pinned. Maybe. Let me know. But excuse me, moderators, if you'd like to confirm that. Thank you. But but yeah, so just reach out to me on that email if you are for more information on how, if you are interested in donating. I will be posting that list on the community tab, so that way you can actually see, at your own time on the prices and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, okay. Some reason it did not pin. Why isn't it showing up as pin? I don't know why it's not doing that, but I thought last time I pinned an email, it worked, but guess not. Um, or that you can go to fishfam.link, go to my page thingy, and there's a link for you to email me. You can do that. Zen says it did pin. Thank you very much. Okay. Scotty says, Professor FishTanks, do you have PayPal? Can you post the PayPal for people to send money to if they want? I'm not using PayPal. My PayPal is linked to my business. If you send money through that, it PayPal thinks of it as like a transaction and it takes a percentage off. What I am going to use, and now that you mention it, Scotty, I'm second guessing this, but I'm basically going to when you reach out to me and you're really interested in it, I will give you my Venmo. Through that, you can send me the amount, because Venmo does not take a percentage off. PayPal does because my PayPal is linked to my business. I don't have a separate PayPal, which is annoying because I remember when last Keystone Clash when I brought stuff to auction off, um, I got the money back from my PayPal because they had it on file. But unfortunately, because the PayPal was my business PayPal, it took a percentage off, so I didn't get the actual amount I wanted, and that's okay. It's my fault. Um, but I'm gonna make sure that that doesn't happen this year if I end up bringing stuff to the auction. Um, So Scotty, I want them to email me because I just don't want to have my because it is my personal Venmo. I just don't want it out there. I just get a little anxious because of that. Um, but yeah, just reach out to me. And then once everything is covered, I will make an announcement saying that I don't need any more money. Um, we're all good and all that stuff. Matt says, I got bad news for you. Venmo is owned by PayPal. Yeah, I believe it is. Um, but the Venmo is not linked to my business, so it does not take a percentage off. So we're good with that. Um, but you can buy through PayPal on my website, but yeah, I will forward you the link to my Venmo, and you can forward it to that. If you're ideally, I would more like it if you guys were donating for like a particular item. It just makes it easier for me um to manage like who's giving me what for what this like if that makes sense. Um And so when you do Venmo me in the comments or the notes or whatever that thing is called, just put the product or whatever and just send it to me like the private thing, not public thing or whatever the case might be. Um but yeah, I would appreciate it if you guys would just email me. Sorry if that's a little too much work for you guys. I do apologize, but yeah. Um Look at Scotty doing tech support again. So Zen, I actually went on YouTube I actually pulled up the video on the live stream on YouTube and I sent a message. I sent the message through there and pinned it. Um and it said it pinned, so but I couldn't see it even when I was watching it from my personal account, YouTube account on my phone. I didn't see the pin. So I wasn't sure what was going on. It's whatever. It pinned. We're good. Um KG says no way to get away from hiding money. No idea what that's referring to. That's fine. Venmo is just way easier to use and doesn't add charges. Yeah. Hey there, Foxy Fishes. Foxy's Fishes, thank you very much for stopping by. Feeding the fish. Wonderful. The fish will thank you for it. Yeah, I don't even remember, Matt, why I made a Venmo. I just don't like. I'm a simple guy. No, I take that back. Because if for those of you who know me very well, will probably laugh at that comment. I'm there for certain things. I'm simple, and money transactions and all that is one of them. But I don't remember why. I think my mom was nagging me to get a Venmo, and I ended up getting it. And I rarely use it. It's mainly for my mom to send me money if like she sends me out to run an errand and doesn't give me money to do the errand, and then I tell her how much it costed, and then she would just Venmo it to me. Um, but yeah, I rarely use it, to be honest with you. It's Basileir Pumpkin Day. I was looking into Dr. Basileir's foods. I think I even reached out to them. Didn't get a reply back. Mm. Um, Rico says after the project is all paid, you can send me the rest of the money. I have some chops to buy for a special chops or excuse me, chaps to buy for a special stream. Um, no, Rico. If there is any money left over, it will be going back to the person who donated. That's why I was encouraging y'all to just donate a particular item. That way, all of what you donate will be used for the project. But if anything is left over, because sometimes prices change, um, or if the project does not come to fruition, you will get all the money back. I will not touch a dime or a cent. Um, Let me pull up that. Let me share that screen one more time, just because. So Zen says, "What if I'm the one who donated and want it to go to Rico's chaps?" No idea what you're referring to, and I don't even think I want to know. But in that case, Zen, when you get the money back, you can just send it to Rico. Um, hey there, Chevy Fish. Chevy Fish or Chevy Fish, sorry if I mispronounced it. Thank you very much for stopping by. Rico says you don't want to know. That's all I need to know. I don't want anything to do with anything inappropriate on this channel. Um, Chevy says was lurking, but that was just too good to pass up. Okay. Um, but yeah, so that's all I got in terms of the macroalgae setup. So this is the list. Um, and the prices. If you guys are down with it, it would I would appreciate I appreciate the support. If not, then maybe when I do have enough funds to do the setup, I'll do it definitely. But um, let me put this plant back. By the way, I still have 3 cups of the Monocelinum tenerum. If any of you want it, still doing great actually. I think it actually grew. Now that I take a good look at it, which is cool. But it is a really cool plant, which is why I'm surprised nobody got it. Um, Might as well talk about some updates. Why not? how far away am I? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay, I need to close this quick because I don't want it to be too long. These guys are doing okay. Plants are doing okay. The Alternanthera rannicii pink is really growing. Like they're starting to send out roots as well. Um, the Rosina Vig is doing okay. Cypress is doing okay. All the plants are doing okay. Um, I am starting to see some brownish algae, like the diatom algae, which isn't really, I know is not true algae. Um, a little bit, but I am keeping up on it a little bit. There is probably something that I need to put in from Brightwell that I believe helps with brown algae or diatom algae. Um, whether it actually works or not is up to me trying it out. But I can't remember what it was. I have a friend of mine is actually a representative for Brightwell, and because I do carry Brightwell, I talk with her from time to time, and I asked her if there's anything that helps with this, and she told me about it, and I can't remember what it was. But anyway, the epiphytes are doing okay. The Anubias golden is actually looking really good. The Anubias gracilis is looking cool. Yeah. Um. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat, so I forgot. You can go 43 more minutes until Steven goes. Yeah, we need to make sure we're ready for Steven's chat, but I also have to leave and get ready at some point because I have to drop off my brother back to college. He's going back for his last term. I think this is his last term. Maybe, I don't know. Um, so my mom's like, "Don't be streaming too long because we need to send him home." But then me knowing my brother, he takes a long time. So, but I don't want to do a very long live stream. I don't want to hold you guys here any longer than I have to because I can get boring sometimes. Hello there, 3G. Thank you very much for stopping by. Robert says, keep us posted as far as the funding goes. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, this list I'll post on the community tab so you guys can still look at it to see if you want to donate or and how much you need to donate or want to donate, I should say. And then I'll basically post an update saying whether or not the project is fully funded. And then after that, the real pressure then comes up, and where it's like, all right, now it's time to set the thing up. That's going to be the real challenge. But it's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be a learning experience for me, and hopefully making the videos and educating you guys on what I learned from this experience. Hopefully it'll benefit you guys as well. That's the goal. Um but yeah. Did anyone email yet? Anything covered? Well, we can take a look, I guess. Why not? Stand by, please. It's actually pretty cold in the basement, so I have like the heater on right next to me, and it's not really doing much. But then again, I do have it on low. But no, wrong thing. Oh, speaking of Brightwells, they just sent me a thingy. Need to check that out later. Um, Hopefully, you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. Scotty, to answer your question, no, not yet. Nobody has emailed me yet. Um, Matt says, "Wait, we know someone else going back for their last term too. I wonder who that is." Um, Matt says, "Scotty, calm down, sir." Matt, are you saying Myrtle is Osama's brother? No, he's not. My brother. He's Singh. I'm Chaudhry. There's a difference in the family name. Um, Carl says, "Professor, do you have an Instagram?" It's right there, right there. I have two Instagrams. One is the Professor FishTanks one. The other one is for Atlantic Aquariums. Yeah, Matt makes a good point. Where do you think you can find that? I wonder. Fish Fam link, maybe? Coral says you should follow Ikisterium on there, I think they're called. They have some gorgeous macroalgae bowls. Yeah, I follow a few people, Coral. Um, and I will mention them during the videos that I make for the for the system. But there are a few people that I follow for inspiration. There's one person in particular who I am going to get in touch with for more you know for more help and more advice, if you will, because that person is widely known for his macroalgae setups. Um, um, but yeah, no, Cora, I do. I'll definitely look into. Actually, let's look at it right now. And Matt says check again, which means I may have gotten an email. Oh, I did get an email. Aw, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I'll email you in a after the live stream. But if you want to donate if you want to donate for a particular item, that's great. If not, that's totally fine as well. But I appreciate that. Um, what am I doing? Oh, trying to look up that person. Stand by, please. And thank you, Coral, for the follow. I appreciate that. Although I rarely post any good quality stuff on it. ICHISTAR. I think that's it. Oh, cool. Oh, Carl, you're gonna get a kick out of this. So I know who this person who they are because the guy that I follow who I was mentioning who is known for his macroalgae setups, he got two lights. They're like a screw bulby LED light that this person with barreled.net, which is on his thingy, the company or whatever the company's called, made those lights and sent it to him. And so it brought me to this to this channel or this Instagram thing. But yep, definitely know who that is. I just didn't look at the username. But but yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, guys, I would definitely take a look at that account on Instagram if you guys are really wanting to get into macroalgae setups. Cool. Very cool. Um, Thank you again for sharing the link, Zen. Really appreciate it. Um, Scotty, Zen is way ahead of you in the sharing the link game, man. Come on. Oh, it's Atlantic Aquarium's one. Fine. You guys never let anything slide. What? I'm confused. Or are you just referring to the links they're sharing? Um, Update your Professor FishTanks FFL for the Instagram. Sheesh, Matt. Oh, I saw that, and I think they probably just did it to kind of promote the business, maybe. But yeah, Matt, if you could, the Instagram section of Professor Fish Tanks, you can link the Professor Fish Tanks Instagram to that. I would appreciate it. And then obviously for the Atlantic Aquariums page, um, the Atlantic Aquariums page is okay, and then it even has a link for the Professor Fish Tanks YouTube channel, which is fine. But but yeah, I don't mind the two being separate. Carl says I sent you the link in your DMs. Okay. I only have one pic on Instagram. I don't know what to post on. Yeah, yeah, Boots Cats. It can get a little thing. The problem with me is I don't really have that much content really. Sometimes if I like taking pictures when I'm at work too, so sometimes I'll share pictures of that. I just took some pictures from my when I was at my local fish store, and I'm probably gonna post that stuff too, just like photography stuff. Um, I mean, I suck at taking pictures of fish, but like anything that stays still long enough, I can get a good picture out of it. Um, they just made that. Oh, here we go. They just made that light in collaboration with Ichthyosterium for macros specifically. Yes, and I was trying, and me being a typical business owner, I was trying to figure out if they did wholesale because I wanted to get those lights in, but I don't know. I might reach out at some point and ask, but I saw those and I even saw them somebody did the guy did a review on them. And if he likes the lights, then they're definitely a good light for macroalgae setups. I'm not going to use them for this setup, but I would like to get them in to the US and be like a I guess a store to sell them or something like that. I don't know. I like getting in things that are innovative. They work for the purpose and is something that I also personally like and use. So that light is probably something I'm gonna get when I do set up my own macroalgae system to try it out. Or salty jars or like sea cucumbers and slugs and things. They have a lot of cool content. Yeah. Yeah, I took a little gander at it and it's really cool stuff. Scotty says she may beat me in sharing links, but I beat her 5 times in catching pokies. I'm assuming Pokemon Go. I never got into that. But which one of those things is more important here, Scotty? uh, so Chevy says one important thing about Caulerpa macroalgae is it must be regularly trimmed to avoid it going sexual and crashing your whole tank, especially smaller tanks. Yes. Not even that, but also water quality, temperature. something goes off, it ends up going sexual, you'll start seeing pores showing up, and that's a death sentence. That's not, you don't want that. Which is why I might actually stay away from Calepa. Because I want it to be as easy to maintain as possible, and I don't want somebody to deal with the Calepa. It's a beautiful macroalgae for like if you're experienced with them and you want to work on them, because the Calepa is like your classic seaweed. Um, but for this setup, I might actually stay away from Calepa. The problem is like besides Calepa or like the sea lettuce, there's not really a lot of other green macroalgae that I could find, but I will still look for it because I want there to be not monotone in color, but like have a nice vibrant color, different colors in there. But I want to also make sure that it is all relatively easy to maintain. Um, but yeah, Coro is not messing around with it for that reason. Oh, laptop's about to die. Hang on, guys. Need to bring the charger over. Whenever I'm streaming, it just drains the battery on this thing. Um, Matt says that looks like an Instagram page that I can only look at for the pictures because that text so much for me. Are you referring to my Instagram or the Instagram Coral mentioned? I received my 1 gallon PNW tank today, trying to decide what kind of shrimp to put in it. WON, WON. What does that stand for? 1 gallon PNW tank. Oh, that. Uh, let's see. Interesting. That's small. Well, I mean, it's 1 gallon, but I don't know. You're talking about freshwater. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the freshwater species you can keep in there. Yeah, Koro says if you go down, it'll translate it for you. Koro says, sexy shrimp. Yeah, they're small enough. But 1 gallon saltwater systems, you don't really want to put anything in there. They're cool, and if you can manage it, great. But like the smaller the system, the harder it is to maintain water quality in them. But that's just me. So Matt won the small all-in-one gallon desktop aquarium, 1 gallon desktop aquarium, PNW Customs. Yeah, I figured out what you're talking about. Um, Scotty says make it a micro coral tank. Hi there, Fish and Things with Lando. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, Matt, it's just especially if you're new to saltwater, I would, you know, and some people might disagree with me, and that's fine, but I would stay away from anything smaller than 10 gallons. If you want to be even that's daring. Like I would, if you for your first saltwater system, go 10 to 20 gallons is like the smallest I would go. The bigger, the better. You'll have better luck. You'll have better luck with water managing water quality, um, and things like that. It's I would just stick with making it a freshwater system instead of making it saltwater. That being said, if it comes with a light and it's for marine, then I guess you don't really have a choice. Um, but if it's a freshwater setup, then just do like a simple freshwater system. I think that'd be more manageable. But if you want to be daring, you know, and you want to go into saltwater, if you want to set it up as a saltwater, and you're by all means go ahead. And if you need any help, I'm happy to help in any way I can. Coro says Matt is no need to solve. That's fine. I mean, you should change water, but you don't have to do it as much as you would for a freshwater system. Because remember, you're not trying to make your nutrients go to zero. You want to keep some of those nutrients up. Okay. So okay. So far I've only gotten one email um regarding donations. I appreciate it, Matt, but it's not enough to get the ball going. But I'll give it a few days. Let's say a week from today. Week from I'll give it a week from today. Um, and if everything is fine, then you'll get an update of the project. The project is a go. If I don't get enough backing, yes, Scotty, I will do a community post. Um, if I don't get the backing for it, then you'll get an update regarding the project is a no go. Okay, and it's okay. Um, um, I'm not gonna push Scotty to talk about it. It's his stream. If he wants to, he's more than welcome to do so. But he promotes me and my shenanigans enough. Um, but if he wants to do it, I'm not gonna push him to do it or encourage him to do it. But I appreciate it if he does. But it's his stream. It's about Scotty, not about the professor. Uh, Somehow we're talking about vampire crabs now, which I like too, and I want to keep at some point. But yes, vampire crabs are semi-aquatic. They need 5 times the land space as the water. That's true. Excuse me. And they're good climbers too. So you have like a tall paludarium, they like climbing up on the living wall too. If anybody else wants to talk about this project on their stream, you are more than welcome to do so. I really appreciate it, but I'm not going to encourage you to do it. This is a project I decided to do with the community here. I will do my best to promote it as much as possible. Um, I don't like I don't like, you know, anyway. If you want to do it, I appreciate it. I really do. You don't have to push him. I just did. I will pull his teeth. Be nice, Matt. If you buried it into a 20 long with the acrylic against the glass, that could be cool, I guess. I'll do what I want, Usama. Yes, Scotty, do what you want. Nothing wrong with it. As long as you behave, you can do what you want. Um, micro crabs, the Thai micro crabs, those are cool. Steven is saying, Usama, what's your funding goal? So it's whatever this is. Hang on. Uh, So it's about, oh, I did not mean to do that. Go away. Hang on, I can't see. So what I was hoping for is that somebody would donate to buy a particular item of that, if that makes sense. Um and if there is some money left over from that donation, like your donation, you will get the remainder back to you. And so the top portion there is the items that I'm asking for funding for. The total came up to, and this is the pricing as of as weekend without any sales use tax or ship. That stuff I'll cover. It shouldn't be an issue. Um, so it's about 251.19, 200. If you want to round it up, you can. And then the continued purchases like the saltwater, the RODI water, the buckets, the what else do I have on there? The fertilizers, things that I would have to buy frequently, that I'll cover. I forgot to put in a few things like the siphon hosing for like maintenance and stuff like that, which I'll cover. Um if I can. Um or or if somebody has some funds left over, I can reach out and be like, are you okay if I use the remaining funds for this or things like that? But I will always ask permission first before spending anything. Um, but yeah, this is the goal right here, and I will post something along the lines of this in the community tab as well. Um, uh, Matt says, Usama, will you write me a short article about what you're doing? I will get it added to Fish Fam link and we'll get it shared out. Don't you worry. Like, you want me to write an article about the project? If that's the case, then sure, I can do it. I'll do it. Um, yeah, Zen, micro crabs are adorable. I discovered micro crabs, like the micro crabs from Flip Aquatics, actually, because I think his wife loves those crabs, and Flip Aquatics would usually get them in, and that's how I learned about Thai micro crabs. They're really cute, and I think my local fish store also got them in some at some point. I think. Grant proposal time. No, I hate writing proposals for grants. Ay, ay, ay. Which I'm gonna have to do at some point if I ever get into grad school. But those things are a pain in the butt. Oh, don't remember, Cora. Why'd you have to bring that up? Kuro says, I want an all-in-one with bottom intake instead of having an overflow, so you can turn it into a waterfall thing. Oh, okay. I got what you're saying. Koro, I know you mentioned all-in-one, but the new fluval shaker aquariums have what we're talking about, and it's in the main tank, so you can easily turn it into. But the problem is the outflow is pretty tall. The intake is not as tall. It's about halfway. It's about half of the outflow. So you have to figure out regarding that. If we're on the same track here, but something to look into. The new fluval shaker aquariums. Excuse me. How much space does a pom pom need? They can get pretty big. Let's take a look. Why not? I hope you guys don't mind me putting that away for a moment, but let me just look at the pom pom macroalgae. So that's the pom pom. Most likely an algae that will be in the setup, and they can get pretty big. Not as big, but it gets its name because it looks like a pom pom. There you go. Well, actually, no, that's dragon's tongue. That's a different thing. Hold on. I don't know why that's showing up there. Um, this is a cool one. That's a good picture of it. Yeah, that's what a pom pom looks like. So, not that big, but yeah. Kuro, don't give Matt ideas, please. Don't make the aquarium community go against them. So Scotty says, Professor FishTanks, it is a lot easier to just send you money and not specify for what, and most would rather you just keep the extra. It's an assumption. No. Well, okay, here's the thing. If you want to do that, you can do that. No, that's gonna make it harder. Oh, I hate asking for money. If you want to do that, you will have to specify as to what you want me to do with any remaining funds. You need to give me permission. If you want me to keep it, I appreciate it. If I don't get anything back, it'll either go back to you or I'll just yeah, it'll either go back to you. The problem is like it will be very hard for me to figure out how much I'm supposed to give you back. But um yeah, I don't want to keep it. Um if you give me permission to, then I appreciate it. I don't deserve it. Because I'm only asking for money for the project. That's all I'm asking for. Um but yeah, just if you're not donating for a specific item and you're just giving me it out, just tell me what you want me to do with it. I would appreciate that. You know, what do I have permission for to use it on, or how do you want me to use it? Let's say it like that. Yeah. Cora says, I think a lot of the retailers, including me, just won't recommend below 5 gallons due to inexperienced hobbyists, though, on a serious note. Yeah. Um, if you have experience in saltwater, keeping a pico tank, so a 5 gallon would be considered a pico tank in the saltwater world. We consider it a challenge for you and something that we would look forward to seeing how it works for you. If you're brand spanking new to the saltwater world, we will never recommend you anything smaller than a 20 gallon. Um, like we will work with you, but we don't want somebody to start pulling their hair out because water parameters are not stabilizing properly because of the small setup, and then just giving up on it because it's so much work. If you can really hone in on saltwater by starting with the basics, right? Which we, as the serious retailer who cares about their fellow aquarists, will help you with. And and if you can master the basics of saltwater, then you can keep a lot of cool things. Um, because that's the point, is we want you to succeed so that way you can grow. At least that's what I want to see. So, so yes, on a serious note, if you are an inexperienced hobbyist, nobody will ever recommend. If you want to ignore all that advice and just go straight ahead and do it, by all means, go ahead and do it. But if you're an experienced hobbyist, we're more comfortable in selling you a nano tank for you to set up as a saltwater system because we have the confidence that you know what you're doing. Um, but yeah, it's like when we say no, we're not going to sell you this or that, or if we ask you, like, what experience do you have? It's not insulting you. It's for us to understand that what we're selling you, you will be able to take care of. Um, yeah. Sorry, I went on a rant, rant there because I've seen a lot of people who don't have the experience buying these animals and not doing a good job in their care. And when somebody is trying to help them in understanding it, they take it as an offense, and I don't appreciate people like that. I really don't. If you're going to keep any type of animal, do your research and do it properly, or don't do it at all. um, because in the aquarium world there are so many ways of doing certain things, but there's always the basic fundamental rules, I want to say, of fish keeping that we all as a collective community agree upon, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you break those rules, that's when the entire community starts going after it, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. Oh, but this and those, so yada yada, yada. No, you don't do that. It's not good for the animal you're keeping, for the longevity of the animal you're keeping. Okay? Like if the majority of the community is telling you you're doing something wrong, you're probably doing something wrong. So, so that's why when I say stuff, like for example, we were talking about coralline algae at some point, right? And I was talking about how I don't like it covering the walls. People were kind of curious about that and saying, "But wait, isn't coralline algae good for the system?" It is good for the system, and I like it growing on the rocks and all that. I just don't prefer it growing there. Um, some people like to keep their tanks all natural. I like to do my water changes on a timely manner, things like that. And I like my tanks to look pristine and good looking and professional, and exhibit quality is what I like to refer to it as, exhibit quality. But I'm not saying that a natural tank, like this is borderline natural, like I'm just having things growing in here. Um, it looks good. The fish are happy. I still keep up with water changes. I just don't prune the plants as often, right? Um, and it works fine. Other people might not like it. So it's like, I've done pretty much all of that stuff, and I've figured out the things that I like and I don't like. But there are fundamental rules that we as collective aquarists agree upon that you should not do. And if somebody is doing it, you don't call them out on it. You don't try to humiliate them. You try to educate them. And if they're smart enough and open enough, they will appreciate that and they'll try and reevaluate their care. their husbandry practices. And it's like if somebody tells you you shouldn't do something like that, it's most likely not coming from a sense of ignorance, at least I hope, but more of a sense of the well-being of the animal. As aquarists, the well-being of our animals, our aquatic friends, is important, um over anything else. um but that's just my 2 cents. Sorry, I went on a rant there. I need to stop before I accidentally offend somebody. um Sorry, I'm behind stuff. Porcelain crabs need even less room. The Zen Ginger. Okay. Yep. Something short and sweet. This is what I'm doing. Here is why. Here are the costs. Here is how to contact me. Cool. Sure. I'll get it to you soon, Matt. Appreciate that. And I'll email it to you in the same email that you just emailed me, if that makes sense. I'll reply to that email with that article. Uh Coral says, what about rounding up on your website purchases? Okay, so if you want to use the remainder of your donation to go towards buying something from the website, that's totally fine. You just have to let me know, and then what I will do is I will then issue you a personalized, like a coupon code, that will take off that amount. So you'll when you go online to my website and you place an order or whatever, in the discount code, you'll pop that in, and it will knock off that amount. I'm happy to do that if you want to do that. Keep in mind the way that the website works. Unfortunately, and it's a little bit annoying, but I kind of get it. You can only use one coupon code at a time. So let's say you are a Fish Family Patreon, right? And you do have a discount code, right? You cannot use that discount code and the other discount code I gave you at for the same order. It will not let you do that. You can only use one. So you kind of have to just think, do I want to use this or do I want to use that? You're more than welcome to save that discount code for a later time. Um, I'll have those discount codes as non-expiring, so you can use it whenever you want to, but you can only use it once, obviously. Um, but but you can't use two coupon codes at the same time, if that makes sense. Oh, sorry, I'm behind chat, and I just realized that you weren't referring to pom pom. That okay? That's the thing. I am a scientist, people. You need to be specific when you're asking about stuff. Because we're talking, this live stream's about macroalgae, and when you mention pom pom, there's a macroalgae that's a pom pom. That's called pom pom, the common name. But if you're talking about a crab, you got to be like pom pom crabs. Um, you got to be specific. I'm sorry. Uh, in that case, let me stop sharing then, 'cause y'all need to see that. Um, but yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm getting through the chat because I want to end it at some time. Um, Specific somebody is telling me to end as well, which is okay. But anyway, okay, so uh, okay. Um okay, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sorry if I misunderstood anybody saying anything in the chat. I think I did that a couple of times today. I do apologize. Um um but yeah, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to me. And And I'll give it about a week from today. If things go well, you'll hear about it. If things don't go as planned, you'll hear about it, and we move on. Um, but I do appreciate your guys' thoughts and inputs, your guys' support, excitement for it. And I will see you guys around. Actually, I'll see you guys at Scotty's stream. Um, but that being said, thank you very much for the support. Make sure you hit the like button. If you missed the live stream and you're watching the replay, thank you very much for doing so. Please make sure you hit the notification bell so that way you guys are notified of when I post stuff or go on live or whatever the case might be. And yeah, so with that being said, guys, stay safe out there, stay warm if it's cold where you are. And I'll see you around. Take care.